This is ELE 111, and I'm going to create a short video here for how you log into TinkerCAD and also talk about how you use it. So here I am in my browser. I'm going to take and go to the internet, do a search on TinkerCAD. Screen, click on it, and here we are. TinkerCAD, as you might notice in the top left-hand corner, is a product of Autodesk, and it originally started with 3D design, but they've added basic electronics and a couple other things to it. So it's a great tool for doing some basic things, and especially looking at basic circuits and so forth, simulating them. And it also has the great advantage that it can take and simulate the operation of an Arduino, which is the tool that we'll be using most in this class. So this is kind of a very interesting little simulation tool. Now, you can join now, and you can get an account yourself. But what I have done is I've taken and added you into a class. So I'm going to go here and click on sign in. I've already got an account, but I'm going to sign in here. And what you want to do is go to this students join your class. And it turns out that I'm going to have to give you the code for that, obviously. And that I'll type in a second, and I'll have it on the Blackboard website. So you don't have to make an account if you don't want to. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I can see your work. So you can log in without a lot of rigmarole. You just use a nickname, and there's a 4 or 5 digit code. So I'm going to click on this now, join your class, type your class code. So for this course, the class code is QNXB Z6DQ and 919J. It says go to my class, so I'll click on that. I created a student account for myself, so here I can type in my initials, and I'll probably delete this after I do this demonstration, but nevertheless, let's sign in that way. So as it grinds a little bit, it comes up, says here I am over here, my initials. The first thing comes up is 3D designs. Again, originally I said this was a 3D design program, but right under that is circuits, there's code blocks, lessons. So that also, if you get hung up, this guy over here, you know, you click on it and it's, well, nothing's happening right now, but you can tend to get out of this if you get hung up. I'm on the main page, so I guess it brings you back to the main page. So let's go to circuits. And we go to circuits, it says create new circuit. So I haven't done much here. And what you really want to do to start off is go to lessons. Now, since we're in circuits with lessons, it comes up with, you know, electronics loading, taking a little while to say the least. There it is. So what you want to do, your first introduction to this, you want to watch the videos that I posted on Blackboard, but you also want to take and go through these lessons. And the lessons are adding components, wiring components, editing components, and start simulation. The Arduino stuff we're going to get to in a little while, but right now, since we're looking at basic electronics and things like resistors and so forth, these are the lessons that you want to perform, okay? And again, watch the videos that I have provided. So if we go back to circuits, let's take and see how you create a circuit. So it says create new circuit. Let's do this. And if I create a new circuit, what happens is we come up to the work area of the screen. And again, let's see what happens. I go over here. I told you we could do stuff with this. And sure enough, it brings us back to the main home page. So let's go back now to create a new circuit. So if you get hung up, go to that TinkerCAD symbol up there. And you see come up with some really interesting names for the circuits. It looks like the Shiny Wolf Go-Go is what the name of this circuit's gonna be when it's made. So over here on the right, we have a bunch of parts. And you might notice that there are basic parts, but there's also all parts. There's also some circuits that are already created called starters, basic, Arduino, circuit assemblies, all. There's a menu bar over here that actually takes the basic components, talks about them a little bit. But let's go back to basic components. And well, I don't know if I can get back. What happens if we click on this guy again? That brings us back. You can also search for a component if you want here. But you might notice I have resistors, an LED, push button switch, potentiometer, a capacitor, a slide switch, a couple of batteries here, well, actually 3 of them, a 9-volt, a coin cell, and a 1.5-volt battery, a breadboard, small breadboard, oh, an Arduino. And again, we're going to use this later on. A vibration motor, a DC motor, a micro servo, it looks like, hobby gear motor, NPN transistor, another type of LED, a red, green, blue LED, a diode. What else do we have? A photoresistor, ultrasonic distance sensor, PIR sensor, whatever that is, a piezo, temperature sensor, oh, and down here, a multimeter. And we'll get to that in a little while. So let me just take, and we can wire stuff up over in here. We could take a resistor here if we wanted and drag it out here. And you see that it comes up with a little labeling thing here. It's got a 1K ohm resistor. So you might notice it's got a brown, black, orange band on the thing. If I went in here and I wanted to make it a, let's make it a 220 ohm resistor. Let's not make it K ohms. Let's make it 220 ohms. And you might notice right away the bands change. It's red, red, brown, it looks like. If I want to take and move that resistor, change its orientation, I might do this, and I might grab another resistor. Grab a resistor over here and do the same thing. We'll leave that as a 1K. Let's spin it around so it's, you know, okay, so here we are. We got 2 resistors. I'll bring it down here. And then I might want to take and wire it. So I might go over the N terminal here, click on it, go the other N terminal here, click on it, and I put a wire there. Of course, it's a green wire. Well, I'm going to make it a black wire. Maybe, who knows. So I can wire here. I don't need a breadboard. But let's get rid of this stuff. And how do I do that? I toss it in the trash can. Put this guy in the trash can. They disappear. Well, let's go down here to the small breadboard. Now, by the way, these things sometimes are called proto boards. And you want to be aware of how to use this. We probably already use this in lab, so hopefully it won't be that difficult for you. You notice the top here we have a minus, and they all light up when I hover over one of them. So it turns out that these are all connected together. That's the minus or black. Down below it's a red, and they're all connected together here in a horizontal row. The same thing down here. Here's the minus, all connected together. The red, all connected together. In the body of the proto board here, we have columns. And notice they all, if I hover over one of them, all 5 of the connections in the columns light up, meaning they're all tied together. If I go over to the next one, they all light up and so forth. These things are labeled. Down starts here A, B, C, D, E, like the seats of an airplane, I guess. And then down here, 1, 2, 3 through 30. So I think at one point, I think there's 400 connections on this thing. And of course, how you connect in the lab physically is you push a wire into the little hole. Here, you take and hover over it and click. So let's go grab my resistor I had before. Let's grab one of these resistors and bring it out here. And I'm going to spin it around. So then I'm going to take and I'm going to bring it over here and put it in the board. Now I put it in the board like so because remember these are all connected together. These are all connected together. If I put the resistor the other way, I would short the resistor out and it wouldn't have any resistance. So I put them in 2 different columns here to do that. And I could take another resistor over here, drag it over here, and I could take and spin it around again. Now you can spin it around when it's in the board also if you want. And I'll take this guy over here and I'll put it there. So now I have two resistors that are in series. Why are they in series? Because here we have this connection where the two ends of the resistor go in here, and then this end and this end are in two different columns. Now, what we could do is take, and very simple thing here, to measure resistance, I got to slide down and grab the multimeter. So I bring the multimeter up here, and on the multimeter, what I might do is, and by the way, you can change the multimeter to read, in this case it's reading voltage. We want to measure resistance, we'll say these two resistors in series, so let's do that. And I'll go and I'll grab here and I'll come down to a connection here and click on it. That's a green wire. I'll probably want to change that to say a black wire. Black is usually ground or negative for a electronic circuit. Here I'll take the red wire and hover over it and go down, and it doesn't matter, I could go into any one of these. I can even wire it, you know, that allows you to take and put two things in one hole, but that's not good practice because you wouldn't do that in the lab. So I click on it, and let's make this guy red because that's the colors of the two terminals on an ohm meter. And how do we get the reading? Well, up here we haven't talked about. Code would be for the Arduino. Start simulation is for what we're doing right now. So I'm going to click on this, and lo and behold, it tells us that we have 2 K ohms. And of course, we have two 1,000 ohm resistors in series, so indeed, that's what we should get. Let's take and we stop the simulation. Let's go and do this. Let's take this guy. I'm going to click on it. Let's make him a 12 K ohm resistor. Changes the colors. Notice the colors change on it. Do the simulation now, and it tells us we have 13K. 1K and 12K will add up to 13K. And so we're happy because you know, we believe that these are the correct answers, and the meter's not telling us any lies. So again, this is a simple way to use this. We could put a, as long as I'm doing this, let's take and stop the simulation, and let's click this guy here and throw it in the trash can. So I get rid of that lead. Let's grab a battery. Well, let me do another thing. I'm going to take this guy here. Let's make that a 9K ohm resistor. And it's weird now. It's white, black, red. 9K ohms. And I'll go down and get a battery. Let's get a. Now, by the way, there are variable power supplies in here. You'd have to take and go to the all. And if we went to a all and we typed in power supply, I think. And what do we see? Here it is. So I could grab one of these guys. So let's take a power supply. It's got red and black terminals on it also. Let's pull down our board a little bit. Move this guy down too, and then we have room for the power supply here. So what I'm going to do is I'll actually take and let's do this. Let's make this now, this guy here, let's make him read current, or amperage. And I'm going to take my red lead, and my red lead I'm going to take and move over here to the current meter. Click on it, and I'm going to let the color be red. And then I'm going to take over here the other end of the resistor, and I'm going to drag it over to the black, I hope, and click on it. And now I got problems. I don't know what that story is with that. Let's take and go over here to the trash can. Maybe I've got to pull this up, and then it looks like the wires might be crossed a little bit. So I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to take and I guess I'm hovering over the negative. I'm going to pull it down here to, there we go. So it might need a little practice to take and deal with this stuff when you first do it. So now what I've got is I've got a power meter. So I got to click on the power meter, and I want to make the voltage, 10 volts. I've got, remember I've got what for resistance? 10,000, I got a 1,000 and 9,000 makes 10,000, and 10 volts, I should get 1 milliamp. So let's take a look and start the simulation. And it tells me that I have 10 volts. The power supply rather, also reads the amount of current is 1,000 microamps. And oh, an interesting thing here. What have I done? I get minus 1,000 microamps because I've gone into the wrong lead. I should be going red to red on my meter. So I can stop the simulation. Let me take and show you that I can throw that wire away. And so I'll take this wire, throw that wire away. And what I want to do is something like this. We'll put this meter over here. And now what I'll do is go from red to red. Click on it and make that wire red. And then I'll go black to black over here. Click on it and make that wire black. So here we go. Now when I run this, start the simulation, you see 10 volts, 1,000 microamps, which is a milliamp, and 1,000 microamps are a milliamp in the meter. Okay, so you're going to see more about how to do this. You want to take and do the lessons. You want to look at the videos. And when we get to the Arduino, we'll have a couple YouTube videos about how to program the Arduino, how to simulate the Arduino and program it using TinkerCAD.